We're going off the rails on the Bullet Train. Me and Alonso. Bullet Train is out, and the trailer has been out for it feels like forever, but there's an actual entire film beyond that.
Go figure.
And here it is. Tell us about it, Alonso.
Hi. There's a gun on.
Shh, run. It's the quiet car. Gotta use your small inside voice in here, son.
There's a gun.
So Brad Pitt is as he describes himself, a snatch and grab guy, and he has been hired to hop onto the bullet train in Tokyo, get a briefcase, and hop off at the next stop. Well, of course, nothing is that simple. The train, it turns out, is full of an international, global coterie of assassins with cute nicknames, including Tangerine and Lemon, played by Aaron Taylor Johnson, and Brian Tyree Henry. You have the Wolf from Bolivia, played by Bad Bunny. More and more of them the Prince, played by Joey King, and more surfacing as the movie heads along. This is, if you remember the late 90s and how after Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction, every young white guy filmmaker, and I'm being very specific, they were all white guys, thought, oh, I can make a movie with lots of gunfire and gore and pop culture references and needle drops and swoopy camera and showy editing, and it'll be great. People will love it. And then you wind up with Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead. This is Things to Do in Tokyo When You're Dead. It is so drowning in style and would-be quippiness. It's directed by David Leitch, who did Deadpool 2, which a movie I liked. But,
and Atomic Blonde.
God. Really?
Yeah.
Wow. But you would never know it because this movie is not anywhere near the level of Atomic Blonde as far as doing what it's trying to do.
And he supposedly the uncredited directed the first John Wick, because he's a longtime stunt guy, longtime choreographer. Okay,
that guy. Yeah, sorry. This all comes together now. Yeah. Boy, whatever he knew how to do in those movies, he's not doing here. This is one of those rare films where literally after 20 minutes, I was like, I hate this. I hate this. I don't care about any of these characters. The movie doesn't care if I care about these characters because they're all such constructs. But then at the end of the movie, when the bodies start piling up, suddenly you are supposed to care about these characters. And it's like, no, too late. I was more interested in the backstory that you gave the water bottle. It is trying to dazzle you so hard with style and wit and these really great cast put to waste. But it's just irritating.
If I recall, the 20-minute mark is also where you realize you hated the gray man.
Did I give it? Was it full 20? It might have been before that. I don't know.
And they're very similar. In a review of The Gray Man, we talked about this, how it's just punch, punch, quip, quip, and aren't we adorable? In the midst of these incredibly violent, dangerous situations, we still have snarky things to say to each other.
Yeah, both these movies, and I saw them very close together, so but I found them both very annoying. I will, if I have to give one the edge, I will say that the fight choreography in Bullet Train is maybe better shot and edited than Gray Man, but both movies are so firmly lodged within their own rectums that they're just unbearable.
Yeah, I watched Gray Man on Sunday and Bullet Train on Monday, and so yes, they are very similar, but I had a better time at Bullet Train because yes, it's doing the same thing, but it's doing it better. The choreography is very inspired and it's a lot of fun, and it's a lot of playfulness with briefcases and phones and water bottles, and they use this finite space in a lot of clever ways. And I just really enjoyed Brad Pitt being a goofball.
Brad Pitt is fun. He is super charming. He's doing what he can with this material. I agree with you that they do try and make use of the finite space, but they don't explain the finite space very well. Why is there a bar car with no bartender and no one else there that ever comes in or out of it? They explain why at some point, all the non-murderer passengers are no longer on the train, but where is the crew? Where do they go? I was reminded of one of the weaker Pedro Almodovar films, I'm So Excited.
Oh, on the plane.
Yes, where you just have to take it for granted. Okay, everybody in coach is just asleep. That's what we're doing. They're all drugged, and that's what we're doing. But yeah, this one was just sort of I don't even it doesn't even lay down its own rules by which it exists. So
there's also too much. There's not enough in that capacity, but there's also too much. There's maybe one or two subplots too many, one or two flashbacks too many, because you see a new person and then you get their backstory about why they are the way that they are. There's a snake.
yeah, you forget about the snake.
There's a snake that you forget
long.
about, right? And so like Nick was with me. Nick turned to me. He's like, "Snakes on a train." I'm like, "If only,
right?
If this were snakes on a train, that would be a lot more fun." And then there are some big reveals, but I wish there was more for those people to do. You know, that I had a lot of fun with Brad Pitt. I love when he can laugh at himself. I was explaining to Nick in the car on the way home how he was like the most beautiful man ever and still is, but like how in recent years he's chosen to take the piss out of his own pretty image, and that's so much more exciting. And so I enjoy him in the bucket hat, you know, trying to be peaceful. His interplay as it were with Sandra Bullock as his handler is
on
fun.
the phone. He's definitely reached that period of his life. Like, I have crow's feet now, so fuck it. Like, I'm just gonna like I'm gonna goof on my own sort of image. I'm gonna be laconic. I'm gonna be, and he is funny.
It's very charming.
And I wish the movie like gave him more to do than just sort of repeat these self-help aphorisms and stuff. Like, even that, it's sort of like as good as he is, the film isn't holding up its own end by giving him more to do.
And he's kind of like a Lebowski figure in some ways too, in that he's sort of like floating through life and everything is like, dude, bro, you know, it's chaos, but he's like zen in the midst of it. And that's kind of fun. I enjoyed the interplay between Aaron Taylor Johnson and Brian Tyree Henry. That was kind of a fun back and forth. The extreme working class accent that Aaron Taylor Johnson is doing recalls like every Guy Ritchie bad guy ever. So that's yet another kind of derivative touchstone we have here.
Yeah, the actors are blameless in this. They are in trying to imbue this with as much stuff as they can. Also, and I really want to read what like Japanese American film critics have to say about this. There's a bit of that like Western fetishization of like, isn't this crazy with the anime characters and the snacks that are pink? You know, like there's a little bit. It kind of gets a little far in that. But at the same time, I was like, fuck, why don't we have bullet trains?
Why don't we have wasabi peas on bullet trains? I would enjoy that.
Bullet train first, and then I will have the wasabi peas on them. Yes, for sure.
So yes, I had a good time, but it is way too long and way too overstuffed. And
it does not need to be like 2+
it's
hours.
well over 2 hours long. And as is so often the case, a lot of the best bits are in the trailer. A lot of the really funny lines, or I know you didn't see it, but if you have seen any movie in any theater at any point in time in the last 3 months, Bullet Train has played before it. And so, you know, the snappiness of that made it seem like, ooh, this looks really cool. And then you realize, oh, that was all the good stuff.
Yeah, it's exhausting. I just found it like, as much as it's trying to like keep dazzling you and distracting you and holding your interest, I felt the air suck out of it, and I did not have a good time. So I give it a 3.
Okay, I'm saying 5.8. I had a little more fun than you did. Bullet Train is very much out there in every theater imaginable. Zooming toward you.